Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Sean.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're the Natural Gamers, and today we're going to be talking about February's released Capcom put out
mythical,
sci-fi,
Asura's Wrath.
Asura's Wrath. The how would you describe it? An interactive anime is probably how I describe it.
Not much. I mean, it's a game, but it's more or less just a TV show. I think it's
set up like a TV show. It's actually even broken up into episodes and whatnot. So what did you when I first told you about it? Did you even think it was gonna be? Did you have any interest in like playing it or anything?
No, I was kind of maybe turned off because I'm not a huge anime fan, but I do like some of like the bigger ones.
Some of the good ones. There are some good ones. I'm a little picky myself too. So
when you asked me to play it, I was like, I really don't I don't think I'll like it. But when I played it, it was like one of the most epic games I've ever dived into.
But because it was criticized for being like kind of a what do you call it? Just like quick time event game with like some little bit of gameplay, and they're not wrong.
No,
they weren't wrong. And I can understand people not liking this game. I get it. But I will say this though, I thought like the way they handled the quick time and stuff like that, it actually invests you in it and all to serve kind of the story. But it does give you things to do, and there is kind of a skill and knack, if you will.
Yeah, because the way they incorporate it will wake you up, because you'll be drawn into the game. And then it'll be a quick time event, and you're like, oh shit, I'm playing.
Well, that's kind of a testament how like entertaining the story was. Is that like sometimes you would always have to remember like, oh shit, like I'm actually have to play the game, like because you'd get drawn into the story and what was going on that you would like just blank out like when like you have to hit a button and like the reticule's closing in on it. And but yeah,
I think they use the quick time events very correctly.
Really well. Yeah. I mean, because it's a very specific kind of game. It's not for everybody.
It's like its own thing.
It is. It's very much its own thing. Like I don't think I've really. I mean, like there's been precursors to things like this. Like people like kind of say that games like Heavy Rain are kind of like the same idea, where it's like, oh, it's just like it's an interactive movie, quick time event. People seem to like. There's some. I think it's kind of a snobby thing because it's just like, what are you saying? Like there can't be different kinds of games.
I don't see why there would be any kind of ridicule.
You don't have to like a game like just. The idea that a game or music or movies has to be done like a certain way that fulfills like these certain like archetypes, I think is bullshit, and I think it's a disservice to games in general, because then it's going to stop people from actually trying out new things, and that's what was cool about this. It's a new thing. You've probably never really played. You've played things that are similar in style, but you've never really played anything quite like it.
No, I never have.
Yeah. And in that way, it was really cool. Like, and it keeps you invested. It's actually a pretty decent length.
It is. It's like 18 episodes.
18 episodes. It's basically like an anime series. I mean, that's what it is.
Like a season.
It's like a season of a show or something like that. And that's because all the episodes, the sections, there's 18 of them. They probably are what, like I'd say about 20 minutes.
20 minutes a piece, probably.
25 minutes. To give or take to get through them. But this game isn't perfect though either.
No, it's not. It's not.
Because there is like sort of like a God of War type of like rip-off like area, like where you actually just do kind of like God of War third-person brawling.
Yeah. And
it's not pretty mediocre. It's not bad. It's serviceable.
But I get like why it's in the game. It's to break up the
it's to break up the flow and actually give you something to do. Yeah. Oh, well, it has that, and it's got like an on-rail shooter aspect, which is actually a lot funner than the brawling.
Well,
But it's really mindless.
It is.
And they're super easy.
It is. Well, if it's on easy.
If it's on easy. If you bump up the difficulty, but it's still like that's it's not made for you to get stuck.
I don't think it's made for you to fail either.
Yeah, they don't want to break up the flow because if you were to get like stuck on a part, like a section of like the battle stuff, like then some people wouldn't come back to the game.
Yeah, like I don't even think that you can.
They got to keep you in, like drawn in with that story and stuff. So it's purposely like a little bit just simple, because I mean there's no like upgrades, there's no new weapons, there's nothing like that. Like you basically take out these enemies, all the enemies the same way for the entire duration of the game.
And I'd say like that's probably the biggest negative in this whole game. Is,
it is that.
The game, like the actual the third person gameplay, and like the camera is kind of a bitch. It can be.
It's like an old camera. It's like almost like God of War 1, where it's like the camera can be frustrating because you have control of the camera, and what's frustrating about it is the perspective of the camera is like almost like not enough, like not far out enough, so you're constantly gonna get cheap shotted and stuff, and you're not gonna see a lot of stuff coming
because sometimes like your perspective will change super quick, and you're like you can't see your guy and you don't know what's happening. But that's very
minor
small,
actually. Like I mean, there was a few times where I felt like it was kind of a slog, but I think but the last third of the game they kind of stopped doing it, like except for boss fights.
But
they had a lot of on-rail stuff, the on-rail shooting stuff.
Yeah, but because it's easy. I mean, it's
easy, but it's fun.
It's the best of the two things.
And it's fun because it really does make you feel like a demigod.
And it kind of makes it go by a lot quicker than just like mindlessly. I mean, it's not just like you use circle and triangle to do different attacks, but like there's like these little small segments where you do like a special move. And
well, I mean, you can do like counter moves and things like that, which is like catching a guy's arm at the right time. You gotta have, so there is some sort of depth to it. In like on the surface, like kind of element of it. But there isn't anything like behind the curtain. Like when I say that is like there's no upgrades, there's no new weapons, there's no stuff like that. Like a lot of the things you find in these games, or that do that similar thing. Like there's always an upgrade system. And there's always like you always get new weapons. You're always trying to change it up. This game isn't so much like interested in changing.
Because it doesn't need it. Like it really doesn't. Like, and I guess like they knew that too. So I'm glad they didn't try to like just mix it in with all this and make it complicated.
No, I totally agree. But this is a Capcom game, and that usually means there's some sort of controversy or drama surrounding what, because Capcom has a history of kind of fucking people over a little bit, especially when it comes to DLC and things like that. And they've even been in the news lately, in the gaming news anyways, because of the Street Fighter Cross Tekken, which has game characters that are locked on disc and that are going to be charged later as like a DLC type thing, even though it's not DLC. And like so they've also had some drama with like Resident Evil, one on the 3DS, not Revelations. It was like their
I have no idea.
Squad-based shooter one for the 3DS, where you couldn't like erase. You couldn't like if you start playing the game, you can't like ever go back to 0%. Like so, if you trade in the game, you can't ever have like a clear game.
That's
like you can't ever clear the save data.
That's weird.
Because they were trying to, they're trying to stop people from buying the game used.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Ridiculous.
Which is just a trend that's going on, and it's not going to stop. And it's not going to stop with Asura's Wrath. When you came to the end of this game, there are different endings, right? If you get S rank in 5 episodes, at least 5 episodes,
that's the best rank you can get.
You unlock basically an alternate ending.
The true ending.
The true.
That's what they call it.
It's called the true ending. And because the original ending, you have complete closure, and I was fine with it. Right? When you first play through that episode 18, you play it, and it ends kind of on a happy note. Not a happy note, but the story is completed. But you do see that there could be something else.
Yes.
Like, it does leave it open, right? Then you play the alternate ending, the quote-unquote true ending. And it's directly a lead-in for a sequel.
Yeah.
It could be, but a lot of games have done these kind of things in the past, but that's just like that's just a cliffhanger, and you gotta wait till the next game. They're not doing that with Asura's Wrath, because they announced there's going to be some pieces of DLC.
Is that a bad thing?
Well, I mean, because they are marketing the new DLC as Part 4. Because there's 3 parts in the game, like 3 different sections, and they're marketing this as Part 4, and I think it's called the true ending, like the true ending to Asura's Wrath.
So basically, you didn't buy the.
So they busted off the last part of the game and are selling it as DLC. At least that's kind of what it seems.
That's kind of weird.
But I will say this though, the DLC is actually pretty fairly priced. Like I don't agree with the fact that they did that. But I bought the game used, so fuck you, Capcom.
Yeah.
And like the price point on the DLC is not bad. Like it's $6.99 for 4 more episodes, which is not. That's pretty cheap. That's pretty good.
How many episodes? There's 6.
There's 4.
4.
And then they released 2 mini episodes, which are $1.99 a piece, and they're like kind of like these. They take place in between in the middle of the story. We'll actually probably do a wrap-up review when we play the end of it, so we can give like a full, like, we'll see, you know, are these DLC worth it? Because I'm planning on getting it.
Because I enjoyed the game.
I enjoyed the story.
And then, like, the way they ended it kind of seemed cool. Like, the true ending kind of, like, makes you...
No, it's a cool cliffhanger, and it does make you want to see what's going to happen now. Because it's a cliffhanger.
Because now we know, you know...
You know some things.
Yeah, we know
some new shit has come to light, man. Well, so I wouldn't recommend this game for everybody, but I think if you like kind of like
epic, if you like
shit that is epic, you don't mind QuickTime events, you don't mind games like Heavy Rain,
because this game is incredibly entertaining.
Like, it is. It's very entertaining. You won't ever be bored.
Yeah.
Like it always like tops itself, but it never feels like it's trying.
Yeah.
It feels very organic.
Yeah.
You know, like all the things that happen, and that's a tough thing to do when when basically you're just trying to one up the thing that happened before all the time as far as action.
That's basically what any game gonna do.
Yeah, and some are more successful than others. This one's pretty successful. It flows very well. You know.
It does.
So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for us.
All right.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Ryan.
And we're the Natural Gamers, and we will talk to you next time we have something to talk about. Wrath!